let's talk about, I don't think he's going to go number 2 overall, but we'll finish on this note with a quarterback prospect. Ever since his pro day, Michael Penix Jr. feels like the arrow pointed upward.
Yeah.
Albert Breer, another friend of the show, said one thing, making the calls, talking to people this week. He says coaches seem to be higher than scouts on Michael Penix Jr. Some have him ahead of the presumed top guys, excluding Caleb Williams, quote. So like somewhere out there in the NFL community, some people see Michael Penix Jr. as the second best quarterback in this class, which I don't think I buy, but I do think is very interesting.
I mean, somebody out there probably, okay. But I don't know that you can confidently put him in the same tier as some of these other guys we're talking about, just given his medicals alone. Honestly, like,
that's what scares me.
It scares me. I know that he's passed every test. He ran the sub 4.640 at his pro day, wanted to show scouts and teams that he can still be athletic. I think he rushed 8 times for Washington last season. Like, it's not something that he was asked to do.
No.
But it sounds like it's something that he would be open to and wants to do at the next level. But at the same time, when you're talking about multiple knee surgeries and all that kind of stuff, that's enough to scare teams down to putting you in the next tier. I do think he is incredibly accurate. Watching like the eye test, I remember watching him this past season and being like, dang, like the throws that he was making, the anticipation he had, the ball placement, all just incredible for a young player. And I think, again, those are all very translatable skills to the NFL level. It's just the medicals for me where I can't confidently say, all right, yeah, I want you in, the top 5.
I think I've said this on the show before, but he's so interesting to me because if you could convince me Michael Penix goes 10 overall, you could convince me he's still hanging around sometime into the second round, depending, because watch the guy play, watch the confidence he plays with, some of the throws he can make. You meant some of the anticipation and the timing of his throws, of how he works in their offense. And you look at the medicals and 2 ACL injuries on the same leg, I believe, and just has unfortunately had to deal with a lot of that.
Right.
And like I said, like I could see either one. All it takes is one team to fall in love. I mean, I think Minnesota's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Like everything you said about JJ McCarthy could apply to Michael Penix Jr., where we're like, yeah, we'll stash this guy behind Sam Darnold and we've got a great offense for him to work in, and given enough time with a former quarterback for a head coach, we really feel like we got something here.
Yeah, for sure.
I could see that as early in this, not top 5.
No, not top 5. Not top 5. But yeah, if they stick at their number 11 pick because they can't trade up, I think I mentioned that earlier. I was like, could they go and get Michael Penix? Yeah, that's within the realm of possibility.
I think that's, I wonder, I'm not going to call him like a consolation prize, but I feel like there's a pretty firm line, it seems like, in the scouting community between the top 4. And then after that, that's when you start talking about Penix and Bo Nix,
I think it is interesting to, though, project a few years into the future because this quarterback class is stacked. And in any other year, like if you put Michael Penix Jr. in the draft last year, in his current state, with the 40 time, with, whatever.
And like the clean medicals,
all that kind of stuff. If you put him in the draft last year or even the year before, you have to think that he is one of the top quarterbacks that you're talking about. I think that he's a kind of a victim of circumstance when it comes to the fact that this class in particular is one of the best we've seen in a few years. But then looking down the line, like, okay, well then if you did end up with Michael Penix Jr. this year,
that is really funny.
It could turn into something really good.
So like last year, I don't think Michael Penix goes over Bryce Young or CJ Stroud.
No.
I don't think he goes over Anthony Richardson off of potential alone, because Anthony Richardson he's so talented. Then after that, though, yeah, I can absolutely see it. I think your next quarterback taken was Will Levis at 33.
Mm-hmm.
That's how, and then, I mean, if we go back to 2022.
I was going to say 2022 is where I was really thinking.
That's the Kenny Pickett draft.
That's the Kenny Pickett draft. I'm like, I would take Michael Penix Jr.
You
over
mean
Kenny
to tell
Pickett.
me Michael Penix Jr. doesn't go over Kenny Pickett?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or Malik Willis or Desmond Ritter?
Absolutely. I mean, Kenny was the only one taken in the first round, period.
Right.
So, yeah, I absolutely think that Michael Penix Jr., had he come out 2 years ago with this clean bill of health and everything like that, would have absolutely been somebody that people are excited about. Like we are kind of talking about him as a consolation prize, but I think a lot of that is a victim of circumstance.
I just wonder, and I agree, but I just wonder what the cutoff is. Like Will Levis is a great example. Remember, he was getting top 5 buzz.
He was.
And
so was Malik Willis for that matter.
True. But Levis fell to pick 33. He was still there at the start of the second round before Tennessee got him. So what is the margin for error, for lack of a better term? Like, does somebody love Michael Penix Jr. enough to, let's just say, the Las Vegas Raiders because they need a quarterback, 13th overall? Or do they feel more comfortable with the pick in the second round? More so than any other prospect. I don't know the answer to that.
You're right.
And the margin for error is going to be very interesting. I will say fiction as far as being a top, I'll even say 10 pick. I would be surprised if Penix is a top 10 pick.
But it's if he'll be a first round pick.
I'm going to say
fact.
I'm going to say fact too.
Michael Penix Jr. will be a first round pick.
Live on radio, you got on podcast. I mean, you got Denver, you got Vegas picking 12 and 13.
Right.
Maybe Minnesota's plan falls apart and they're still picking 23rd overall. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, maybe they draft a succession plan at 26th for Baker. That feels far-fetched, but I'm trying to think outside the box, man. Maybe somebody trades up into the bottom of the first round. Like, again, I mean, that's where New York could have come up from 39 if they still had it. Maybe New York comes up for him in the second round. So you're saying fact, first round pick.
First round pick, yeah. Like I said, not top 10, but
New England at 30. Ooh, New England at 34. Maybe they trade out of 3 overall.
And then trade back in.
And trade back in with,
Or maybe they trade out of 3 overall and they go down somewhere like 11 with the Vikings and they ended up taking him there, or they pick up the possibilities are endless and they're almost impossible to predict.
They are. That's why it's fun to talk about though.
Yeah,
if I was like, if Robert Kraft was like, we got to get a quarterback, I would be like, look, let us trade out. We'll get next year's one from somebody. And then we'll go get this kid. We'll go get Michael Penix, who's got a cannon, who's not afraid to let it rip. We'll get him in the middle of the first, and we'll add resources while still getting you a quarterback. Everybody happy?
That's the thing, is I really want Michael Penix Jr., wherever he goes, to go into an offense that is like, actually, it's funny you brought up the Bucs, because under Bruce Arians, a Bruce Arians offense would have been perfect for Michael Penix Jr. I think it's something that Mina Kimes actually
grip it and rip it.
Just like somewhere where you could just give him like just downfield throws all the time, like push it down the field. Like Michael Penix Jr. would be fantastic at that. I don't know if that exists in the league anymore.
I'm uniquely excited to see, more so than recent classes, probably because like we knew Carolina was up there at the top. Like last year, it lacked intrigue to me because it felt so obvious. But this year, other than Caleb, it's such a mystery.
Yep, for sure.
Can't wait to see how it all shakes out for all of them.